ask, how's the energy today? So we ask first is, how's
Not
the
loud
Josh
enough.
today? Okay. Josh, J-O-S-H. So first of all, thank
What
you.
does Josh stand for?
Josh is energy. How's the energy today? As I was coming up here on stage, I was
Not loud enough.
the first connect I had was with Mrs. Okay. So first of all, thank you.
Pawan of Skyroad
connected us.
I think
a couple of months ago. I was as I was coming up here on stage, I was recalling our first.
I'm going to bring a bunch of
The first connect I had was
entrepreneurs
with
to
Mrs.
India.
So I think Pawan of Skyroad
delighted to have you
us
here
a couple of months ago.
I do hope the last 4 days have
then
been
after that we spoke
a journey
to Mrs.
where you
Mrs.
discovered
said, I'm
India,
going to bring a bunch
learned
of
about India,
entrepreneurs
learned
to
about
India.
Telangana, you learned
Okay.
about Hyderabad.
So delighted to have you
learned
here.
Not just about
I do hope the last 4 days have
conversations,
been
but also
a
you
journey where
people.
you discovered India.
You got to
you
understand
learned
a
about
little bit
India.
of our rich culture.
You learned about
And
Telangana.
of course,
You learned about
the end of
Hyderabad.
it is all
You
about
learned
how we can
not just
collaborate.
about potential business
So
conversations.
I've had some conversations,
but also
with
you've
some
got
of
to
the
meet
people
people.
you've spoken to.
You've
So,
got to understand
for
a
example,
little bit
some
of
of the
our rich
folks,
culture. And of
the
course,
blockchain
the end of it is all
companies you spoke
about
to,
how we can collaborate.
the space tech companies you spoke to.
So I've
I
had
think we
some
all see an
conversations with
enormous
some of the people you've spoken to collaborate
So,
for mutual
for example,
benefit.
some of the folks,
So
the blockchain
we do hope
companies you
that,
spoke to,
the
Priyanka
space tech
talked about
companies you spoke
T-Bridge.
to. I think
the
we all
program
see
we've
an
done
enormous
for market
opportunity.
access.
I think
we'd
collaborate
love
for
to
mutual
hear
benefit.
from you on both
So
what you felt
we
went
do
well
hope
during
that
the program, right?
Priyanka
What are
talked
the
about
areas where we
T-Bridge,
can improve,
the program we've done,
and what can
for
we do
market
to
access.
make this
I think we'd
love
not
to hear
just a
from you
one-off
on
event,
but
both
have something where
what you
we can
felt
do
went
on a
well
ongoing
during the program.
basis. We want to
right?
use this as a
What
model.
are the areas where we can
The
improve?
model we are building with you, with
And what
high-tech,
can we do to make this
for Armenia?
not just a
We'd
one-off
like to do
event,
this model for
but
everybody
have
else.
something where which we can
And
do on a
this is a model which we
ongoing
want to,
basis.
as I
We
said,
want to use this as a model.
replicate.
So
The
thank
model
you
we are
for being
building with
here.
you with high-tech.
I know you're looking
for
forward to
Armenia,
partying in Goa.
Right? We'd like to do this model for everybody
I'm sure
else.
you'll have fun.
And this is
But
a model
look
which
forward
we
to
want
seeing
to,
all of
as
you
I said,
again here soon.
replicate.
So
I
thank
think
you for
Mrs.
being
has
here.
been telling me that
I
there's
know
an
you're
event you're planning
looking
to do
forward
in
to
October
partying in Goa.
right? In Armenia.
I'm sure you'll have
I
fun.
hope to be there.
But
And,
look forward to
look
seeing all of
forward
you
to,
again here soon.
The way when
I think
when we were
Mrs. has
thinking
been
about
telling me that
what is the model
there's an
going
event you're
forward.
planning to do in October.
So some of you, I think obviously
in Armenia,
you are looking
I
for
hope to be there.
partners
And look forward to
support what you are doing.
the way
in terms of markets.
when we were thinking
So that's
about
one. Second
what
is
is the
some of you
model
may be
going
looking
forward.
for, right?
Talent. So some of you,
to set
I think
up,
obviously
you
you are
your
looking for
operations
partners
to,
essentially
to
to
support
support
what
what
you
you are doing
your business
in terms of
in
markets.
in Armenia
So
or
that's
in the
one.
US.
Second is some of you
So
may
we'll
be
be
looking
happy to
for
facilitate all
talent.
of that. And
to set up.
do look forward
your operations
to,
here.
essentially
to
building
extension
a really
of
strong
your business in
connection
in Armenia
between
or
Armenia
in the US.
and
So we'll be happy to facilitate
Hyderabad,
all of that.
Telangana, and of
And
course,
do look forward.
thank you again for being
to
here.
thank you.
To building a really strong connection between Armenia and Hyderabad, Telangana, and of course.
Thank you,
India.
MSR, for that
thank you again for
much
being
needed
here.
start of the evening. Now, I would like to welcome Shri Jayesh Ranjan, Principal Secretary, Information Technology, Government of Telangana.
He could not
Thank
be
you,
today
MSR,
here
for that
for the evening,
much
so he's
needed start
joining
of
us
the
online.
evening. Now, I would like to welcome Shri Jayesh Ranjan, Principal Secretary, Information Technology, Government of Telangana.
He could not be today here for the evening, so he's joining us online.
Can you confirm, Priyanka, about the audio?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So, first of all, warm welcome to the entire delegation
Priyanka,
from
about
the audio, Armenia.
Yes, sir, we can
respected,
hear you.
Minister, good, who is leading the delegation, all the delegation members. Warm welcome to. It's rather ironical that all of you are in my city, Armenia, and I am somewhere else. Respected here in Missouri. Minister, nevertheless, who is leading the delegation. All the delegation that I'm getting this chance to. Rather ironical that all of you are in my city of Hyderabad. I hope you are having a. And I am somewhere educative. I'm here in Missouri. Informative. Nevertheless, I'm delighted that I'm getting this and also the chance to interact with you virtually. I hope you are happy to share very educative, ours is informative sessions with the Hub team and also the startups. You would have understood that India has interacting with provinces, and I'm happy to share the provincial government of Telangana. Ours is Hyderabad is our capital city. And I can tell this with lots of proud. You would have understood that India has 28 provinces, and I represent the provincial government of Telangana to put together Hyderabad is our capital city. Comprehensive innovation. And I can tell this with lots of pride. You are sitting in the campus with lots of pride that I'm sure ours is the only government out where the team which has taken steps new image to put together such a comprehensive innovation ecosystem. Institutions you are sitting in the campus of T-Hub, the task, but I'm sure my colleagues would have pointed out so where the whole works is, where the new image tower is coming, source and not very far solutions, institutions like solutions, creative solutions, the task which will be useful to address the whole some of the most pressing pain points government is to source technology. Telangana became a new state in innovative solutions, creative solutions. This was the mandate which will be useful to address the premier of the most pressing pain points of our citizens. You can do whatever you want for Telangana became a new state, but your first priority must be to solve. This was the mandate given to us by our chief minister, the premier of this state, and that I was just now. You can do whatever you want for in technology relates to, but your first priority must be to solve G20 citizens. Events are happening in our some country. Of their most today one such event on agriculture, and I was just now speaking, and I also spoke there virtually, which relates to digital agriculture. Lots of G20 to promote events are happening in our country. And today one such event on agriculture to reduce the losses that farmer typically and I also spoke there virtually. And I was telling them about and the kind of in our we have done. There is a national to promote agriculture production, agriculture productivity, and to reduce the losses that farmer typically incurs, all using technology. And technology would have played a very important role. There is a national goal of doubling farmers. Again, the other point which I mentioned in that conference also, I'm very sure that Telangana will be the first that state most of the solutions. In fact, a majority technology would have played a very important role related to agriculture domain that we have. And again, the other point which I mentioned in that conference also, which I would like to share with all of you is that in Hyderabad, most of the solutions, in fact, a majority of the solutions I should related to agriculture domain that we have utilized, but we have are actually sourced from the world of startups, which include in Hyderabad incubators, accelerators. Since you are sitting at T-Hub spaces, I should inform you that T-Hub is the jewel in our crown. Very unique model, but we have called 70 such approach innovation centers, which all the which include incubators, accelerators, co-work, they harmonize their activities and work together. We follow, let us say, very unique model which is called whole of the city approach hub, in which that information will be shared with everyone. Accelerators, co-working spaces to everyone else. They harmonize their activities. This is something very unique in the country. Let us say, when even the other happening in one interesting fact about our innovation ecosystem, that information will be shared with everyone. The doors will be academic institutions and corporates. This is something very unique in Hyderabad. We have the other best, very interesting fact about our innovation. For example, the country's best is the strong partnership is located here. Academic is the finest and the corporate technology schools. In fact, in Hyderabad, we have some of the best in the country is located in Hyderabad. For example, all these institutions participate in enriching located here. One of the finest corporates also are technology schools is located here. The best to be a part of this innovation in the country is located in Hyderabad. They are the ones who all these institutions participate in enriching our innovation ecosystem. And many times corporates also are the encourage senior members of these corporates to be a part of this innovation ecosystem, because they are the ones who give real-time use cases, very advanced validation of solutions. Because many times we have created some of the senior members of these corporates to act as corporate mentors for our startup in this innovation. This again is something which is very advanced in Hyderabad, because we have created a very easy and seamless method through which the corporates can participate in this innovation ecosystem. So, in my opinion, I won't claim that Hyderabad has the biggest innovation ecosystem in the country. That is, of course, not true. The biggest innovation ecosystem is in Bangalore. Other places like Gurgaon and Delhi and Bombay, etc., are also important. But what is very distinct about Hyderabad is that the entire ecosystem has been created and facilitated and is supported very actively by the government. The typical belief all over the country, all over the world, I would imagine, is that governments have very limited role to play. They should step aside. They should allow the market forces to promote this innovation ecosystem. But in Telangana, we have displayed just to the contrary, that the government can actually play a very important strategic role and create such a wonderful ecosystem. So this was the key takeaway I wanted to leave all of you with. In Armenia, if you want to replicate this model, the way innovation ecosystem has been set up, we'll be very happy to collaborate and guide and help you. My colleagues would have also shared with you about a specific program meant for international exchange of startups, which is called T-Bridge. So we will also be looking at identifying a good partner with whom our startup to startup collaboration can happen very easily. We already have similar bridge partners, let us say in the US and UK, couple of other European countries and other parts of the world. But we understand the potential of Armenia, and this can be a very strong and win-win partnership. So please stay connected with all of us. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your stay in Hyderabad. And once you complete your India trip and you kind of reflect on what are the action points which you would like to fast track, please keep us in mind. We'll be very happy to support and help you further. So I will once again thank T-Hub colleagues for organizing this virtual facility, giving me a chance to interact with all our guests, and have a great evening ahead. Thank you very much.
First, thank you, Jay,
Vice
sir, for
Minister
joining
of
us virtually and
Ministry
giving
of
us
High-Tech Industry
entire
of
overview of
Republic of
Telangana
Armenia.
startup
He's
ecosystem.
also joining us virtually.
Now,
I would like to
request you
welcome
to deliver a few
Georg
words.
Manthasan, first Vice Minister of Ministry of High-Tech Industry of Republic of Armenia. He's also joining us virtually.
Request you to deliver a few words.
I request Mr. Georg to to give a special address to the gathering.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, we can hear you.
Namaste. Sending my greetings to everybody. And I'm not sure, can you see me or not yet?
So we cannot see you, but we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Seems few seconds for me to...
Yes, now we can see you, sir.
To get instructed. So I'm sending my greetings to everybody who collected there. And I really want to send my words of appreciation to invite me, Nerses Ohanyan and Mr. Srinivas Rao Mahandri for arranging all this, and I really want to say that we really appreciate, and everybody is welcome to if there are any questions to address to us. So I'm the Georg Manthasan, first Vice Minister of the High-Tech Industries of Armenia, and we are on a historical stage of developing the mutual relations with India. We noticed that there was a long and very deep historical connections, which we even can compare, say that there was a relations like to relatives. Historically, the Armenians know about India, the location, the people, the culture. It's easy for us even to speak the languages which we are sharing all together. But, in this path, we identified very humankind issues, which we usually are doing. Sometimes the people who are your relatives, you are paying not that much attention. But in effect, the people who are your relatives, they need that attention more. And with these people whom you relate, you can build a strong partnership. So in the relations of the Armenia and India, which we started from the very simple conversation of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of both countries, the development of the relations which was restarted, starting the last year. We visited a few times India, and we unboxed it and find out that there's a lot of opportunity for the mutual cooperation. Not only giving the space of the interestingly complementing economic structure, but also geographic locations, cultural and values, which is the most important. In this world, which is changing very fast, it is not easy to find the people who you can rely on and build a partnership. But having the strong connection to the past, having the strong connection to the innovation, it gives the very strong willingness, and it's encouraging us that we will be able to make the new life-changing products which can help to increase the competitiveness of our both nations. In the past and in the current days, we were living not in the best environment which the humankind would prefer to live. But the nature is amazing, and the environment is amazing. But to become the more competitive, we were focusing more on the developing and innovating, having a strong root and connection to the sciences like the math and the physics to absorb the world around us. We find a few things which help our nation to develop. And currently, the Armenians are living around the world, very similar, like the people from India are living around the world. People are working in the tech field. It's very common for the people from Armenia and the people from India to be the shapers of the new technology for the humankind. And this is giving an important, very bright value of why we are creating the technologies and to contribute to technology for the good. And this is very bright. Armenia is living around the world, and the Armenian nation, we call it also that we are the quite global nation, being comparably less in a population, but quite noticeable in the world. Different products were developed by the different Armenians around the world, and we think that at this moment, the T-Hub as well, where you're hosting at this moment as well, could be an interesting point for all Armenians and the innovators who are looking for the opportunity. But plus, we're also thinking that Armenia can country as a platform for the businesses and innovators and engineers from India to focus on the new opportunities in the new markets. We are building the engineering city for the people who want to be the resident. This was done by the support of the different partners around the world, but we are right now ready to open up and build a separate engineering city or district or the campus where the people from India can come and the resident do the development. At this moment, the investment of Armenia on R&D is around 2% of the GDP, comparing to calculating the private and the public. Our ambition for the next 10 years to come to the investment of GDP, the private and the public. Our last year, our economy growth 12.7%, which we think which is one of the highest in the region, and we have the lowest inflation. We are investing a lot in the human capital, and we are ready to work this, go through this together. We are creating the tax incentives for the people to relocate and become the resident and work on creating our strong economy, where Armenians, we will be the guardians to protect our land. We have a strong connection to our environment as well. I was planning today to have the speech from the rooftop of our building to show you our important mountain Ararat, which is our main mountain, which is unfortunately currently is not on territory of Armenia due to tragic historical actions. But the mountain of Ararat is giving the hope for all of us. It's reminding about the importance of the second chance. And the Christianity impacted to the identity of Armenians very brightly. And in the book of Genesis, one of the very bright stories was about the Noah's Ark, which was parting on the mountain Ararat, and making the deal between the creator, the God, and the humankind. And the mountain Ararat means the name of the creator. And so this gives it the symbol of the deal to create and for the humankind to flourish. But later our nation survived the genocide, which was the second chance not for the humankind but already for our nation. We learned a lot that we want to contribute for development of humankind, and we want to create our country on the symbol of no art, which could be the art for the whole nations to come to unbox their talents, to survive, to develop the products, and become the role model for the whole world. Here we also see the similarities with our partners and colleagues in India. India is a role model for the diversity and democracy, and our values here of the creating and bringing the good to the humanity is very strong, it's very bright, and it's all directed for the technological development, which is bringing the good for humanity. This is the part and the end of my speech. Thank you very much to all organizers. I wish you good luck on your discussions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency, for those wonderful words, and thank you for making us understand why this collaboration is so important and what are your plans to move forward with. Now I would like to welcome Lara, President of Applied Policy Research Institute, Armenia.
Hi, everyone. Do you see and hear me well?
We can hear you. We're just waiting on the video to come up.
Sure.
Yes, we can see you as well.
Oh, terrific. And I see His Excellency, the First Deputy Minister of High Tech also. It's good to see you, sir. Someone that we greatly admire. So thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be with you, even virtually. It's an honor. I just returned from India 2 weeks ago. It's a place that I love very dearly. I first came to India as a television journalist for ABC News and Bloomberg. I was covering the visit of President Barack Obama in 2011 to India. And I found myself very quickly at peace and in a deep contentment on that trip and any time that I've been able to make my way back. I now serve as the president of a think tank, the Applied Policy Research Institute of Armenia, where our first major think tank collaboration has been with ORF, the Observer Research Foundation in India, and we're delighted for that. As co-sponsors of the Raisina Dialogue, which took place earlier this month, we hosted with ORF a special event called the India-Armenia Dialogue, which focused on our common ground in geopolitics, security, culture, and a bit of technology as well. And I wanted to share some of the highlights from that Indian-Armenian dialogue that we hosted that day. There was clearly a base of warm affection and deep cultural and historical ties. Most importantly, shared values, shared fundamental values. Armenia and India are both civilizational countries. We're ancient civilizations and modern nation states, and we're shaping a partnership that looks toward the future. I described it as two countries helping each other move faster in the right direction towards sustainable development, peace and security, stability in the region, and the full equitable flourishing of human potential. As some of our Indian speakers put it, Armenia and India are writing each other into their development stories, into their development futures. It's a positive agenda, building together for the future and helping each other thrive. Part of that is sharing solutions to shared challenges. The ideas and solutions we need in Yerevan may not be in London or New York. They may be in Hyderabad or Chennai or Jaipur. And likewise, the solutions that are being developed here in Yerevan and in our rural communities and provinces could provide breakthroughs that serve many millions of people in India. We have a lot to learn from each other, and we have a lot to do together, building on those shared values and those shared interests. At our think tank, APRI Armenia, we've begun initial studies on accelerating India-Armenia economic relations, trade and transport ties, security and geopolitical cooperation, and potential development projects across our robust diasporas worldwide. We're actually looking at creating a study, we are working on it already, a roadmap toward leveraging the Armenian diaspora and the Indian diaspora to do things in a bigger, better way together. We're also looking at the role of advanced technologies and the lessons that Armenia can learn from India's digital public infrastructure. At the heart of this, of course, is a growing security relationship based on mutual interests. Armenia and India have formed an important partnership for advancing peace and stability in the South Caucasus. When Armenia was attacked last September with a 5-point aerial assault from Azerbaijan, India led the community of nations at the UN Security Council, speaking out against the attack. Armenia has become one of the top partners for India's defense industry with equipment and technology that can help deter future escalations and conflicts in our neighborhood, always in a defensive and deterrent mode. And all the while, India takes its trademark balanced and wise approach to maintaining dialogue and relationships with all countries in our region, with all partners in our region, which is yet another way to promote stability across this region, is to have that balanced approach while also drawing the line when it comes to the things that we ought not see happen between neighboring states. This unique Indian voice in global geopolitics has broken the traditional binary of the West versus Russia in our part of the world. It's added a vital, life-affirming third way, a new force that conveys exactly what we want to see in Eurasia: peace and prosperity for all, with no one country eating its neighbor for lunch, or even trying, frankly. India's vision for its foreign policy is clear. It's coming from the ideals of consultative, sustainable, and people-centric growth, going into partnerships that lift countries up, not with a colonial or exploitative mindset. And that's been very clear in all of our conversations with our Indian counterparts, and most certainly in the great enjoyment I've had reading The India Way by the External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar. To paraphrase him in that book, the goal is not just to rise as countries, but to rise optimally in an age of great uncertainty. And that is exactly the outlook that our region needs. The world as one family, a wise family that prepares for the future. There's no doubt that India can be a major capacity building partner for Armenia, exchanging know-how, advancing skills, and investing in high-growth industries. India could be the major partner in the infrastructure revolution and even an agricultural revolution that Armenia is going to need in the decade ahead. And that's something we are also studying intensively. But Armenia, for its part, has also its own unique strengths and contributions to make in that partnership. Strengths which grow from the talent and the diligence of our human capital, our education system, our creative industries, and of course, yes, our diaspora. As you now know, I'm sure, world-leading technology companies have come out of our small country, and the ecosystem of our global diaspora is constantly pushing forward at the top of their fields, and then bringing many of those lessons home to Armenia to foster Armenia's growth. I used to make a joke I borrowed from my friend Audrey Selyan, who works with a major Indian investment office in Switzerland. And she says, Armenia and India, it's like an elephant dancing with a mouse. And we enjoyed that visual. But what I thought was remarkable throughout the India dialogue, and then the days after, we met with India's most prominent think tanks, forming many partnerships in that space. None of them portrayed it at all as a big brother, little brother relationship. It was always posited as a relationship of equals, which really speaks to India's sensibility in its foreign policy and in its approach to working with other countries. Our delegation to the Raisina Dialogue represented a cross-section of the talent that I'm talking about. We had the TUMO Center for Creative Technologies, a world-class after-school program that teaches technology and design skills to tens of thousands of students every week in Armenia. They've opened TUMO centers now at the request of partners in Berlin, Paris, Zurich, Lyon, and Los Angeles. Cities that seem to have everything apparently needed a TUMO center. It's, I think, one of Armenia's proudest exports, and they're now exploring partnerships to open in India, which would be very exciting. We also had my colleague Haik Shekyan, the founder of Stiegen, a group of companies in solar power, e-mobility, and energy trade. He's one of the most admired entrepreneurs in Armenia, champion of sustainability initiatives. He was just in Vizag earlier this year, talking about startup collaboration, and he's now working on ventures across India and Armenia to build a clean tech accelerator, collaborations in e-mobility, electric vehicles, and an e-waste management dialogue to advance best practices in e-waste management, both in India and Armenia. We also had my colleague, Padur Abrahamyan, who's an alumni fellow of RIS, the Research and Information Systems for Developing Countries in India. He now works with Skyla, an Armenian security tech company that develops AI-based threat detection software. So we had an absolutely wonderful group of people with us. Also, my colleague Lucine Toroyan, who's exploring targeted ideas for cultural diplomacy between India and Armenia, bringing together the museums of India with the museums of Armenia for mutual enrichment, heritage preservation, maybe some cool digital online exhibits and in-person cultural days in the two countries. So we welcome your ideas on all of those fronts. I wanted to make sure to mention these incredible people and the things that they're doing, both to exhibit the breadth of where this relationship is going between Armenia and India, and also invite you to share your ideas and feedback on any of the things I've mentioned or more. You can reach me on LinkedIn or find my contact details through the organizers of today's events. I was immensely proud to be in India for the India-Armenia relationship. It's the honor of a lifetime to work on this relationship, the India-Armenia relationship, at a very historic moment for both countries. We wish India all the very best in its G20 presidency and also in the very clear rise of an Indian-flavored foreign policy and a new kind of geopolitics for the world, which I think is a very welcome development. We will continue to find creative and dynamic ways to shape the future together and to imagine how our countries can help each other move faster in the right direction. Thank you and enjoy this wonderful event and have fun in Goa.
Thank you, Lara. It's going very good, and we are very excited that you could be part of it, even though you're joining virtually. Thank you for those wonderful words. Now, I would like to welcome the man who started this entire initiative. He's been talking to MSR, he's been talking to me, we've been discussing about this we envisioned this entire thing in last 2 months, putting a lot of efforts, a lot of energies into it. It's none other than Nurses, co-founder of High-Tech, to give a special address.
Thank you. Can I do a couple of... There's a specific slide, if we can just go there. Hi everyone, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. My name is Nersa Sohanyan. I'm one of the founders of High-Tech. High-Tech launched in 2011 in Silicon Valley, and it's a network of entrepreneurs spanning the United States, Europe, Armenia. We've organized more than 100 events. We have more than 200 companies in our portfolio of network. We have more than 700 professionals in technology and entrepreneurship that have come together over the last 10 years. We've also launched Aero, which is a group of entrepreneurs who collaborate together to bring change to the world and help each other build companies stronger together. And this is our launch event in 2023, coming to India, interfacing with entrepreneurs and ecosystem players here as we want to leverage the Armenian network to benefit any entrepreneur around the world, and especially those here in India. We believe India to be a strategically important tech hub for the world, and we want to be participating in this incredible venture that you have all embarked on and bring value to it and benefit from it at the same time. So it's been an absolute pleasure for our group of entrepreneurs and ecosystem players to have spent the last several days here meeting great people, great entrepreneurs, understanding how business is done here, understanding what the needs are, understanding what the opportunities are, and how we can be of help here in the future. This is our first trip of many. And we hope to continue to deepen the relationship we have with you. I want to extend my special thanks to MSR, the CEO of T-Hub, for being an incredible host to us, for opening all the right doors and making sure that we really connect with Hyderabad, with the government of Telangana, with the culture here, with the people here, and really feel at home. And I think that's something that has been the #1 feedback that I've gotten from everybody on this entire trip, is that how familiar it is, how wonderful it's been, how open everybody has been, and how excited everybody has been throughout all of the discussions, all of our cultural visits, and everybody's looking forward to coming back to India, exploring more of India, and looking at ways to expand their businesses into India, whether it's through talent, whether it's through new markets, or by finding ways to benefit the people of India. And those discussions, I think, have been the most insightful for us to understand how lives can be bettered living in this incredible country. What is going to follow after this is going to be a discussion with Bazunk, the Space Research Lab, as well as the advisor of Bazunk, David, who's the founder of CRISP and the founding partner of Big Story VC, and Dr. Kiran, the lead scientist of Skyroot, which we're going to set up here. And as that's being set up, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the collaboration that happened between a number of entrepreneurs in our network, between the founder and CEO of Skyroot, Pawan, the founder of CRISP, David, the founder of Service Titan, Vahe, and a few others who came together, spent time together, got to know each other, and decided to work together to launch a student-made device into space on Skyroot's own rocket that launched in November of last year, of 2022, which was an incredible accomplishment that shows what happens when entrepreneurs around the world connect, ideate, and then decide to execute together. And so before we start the panel, we would like to share a quick video showing you exactly what happened and the success of that mission. So we'd love to invite you now, some of the folks who were involved in doing this, and kind of discuss how this came to be and what we've learned from it. Haik, Dr. Kiran, David, Pawan, please join me on stage for the next 15 minutes for us to talk about this. One more chair. Chair. Awesome, thank you so much. I think we know who the founders are. So first, I would love to ask each and every one of you to quickly introduce yourself, and then we'll get a little bit deeper. Dr. Kiran.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Kiran, and I lead the R&D and strategic initiatives at Skyroot Aerospace. It's nice to see all of you here at the Aero Workshop.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I am the CEO and co-founder of CRISP. CRISP is an AI voice AI company, with the most known about its noise cancellation technology that is removing noise from 80 billion minutes of conversations every month. I'm also a partner at a VC, which is a founders fund, really, established in Armenia with my co-founder. We invest in Armenian entrepreneurs, And recently I also joined Bazum as a board member, and I became very passionate about space after meeting Haik and then Pawan. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah. So I'm Pawan, co-founder and CEO of Skyroot, and really good to partner with our Armenian friends, Bazum, team from Bazum. It was a wonderful flight, I think, a great video showing the spirit of the launch, which also I heard that happened to be the first payload ever built in Armenia, which went to space. So I think it's a great achievement, I would say. And so looking forward to the interaction.
Hi, I'm Haik. I'm co-founder and CTO of Bazumk, which is located in Yerevan, Armenia, which is a space research lab. And I'm really happy to be here. And as Pawan said, it's been an honor for us to have a payload launched with their rocket to space. And we are planning more collaborations moving to the future. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll start with sort of, for the group here, to have a general understanding of the tech ecosystem and how entrepreneurs in Armenia work together. I would love to ask you, David, to talk briefly about what the last few years have looked like in the Armenian tech ecosystem, both in Armenia and outside, and how that's potentially grown, and how entrepreneurs tend to work together and network with each other as they try to make bigger things happen.
Sure. So it's interesting time actually in Armenia in terms of tech and entrepreneurship. If you ask that question 10 years ago, there was probably one company that was thinking globally and was able to raise money from Silicon Valley and so on. That's Pixar, which is the first unicorn out of Armenia. But in the last 10 years, there have been a lot of companies that. So basically, Armenia started to learn how to build products, global products, and be successful at that, right? So, currently we have a number of companies that are, seed stage, Series A stage, Series B stage, Series C stage, and what's interesting is why that's the case, right? Like one of the contributors to it is the global Armenian network, which is sort of a superpower for Armenia. So we have a lot of founders, entrepreneurs in United States, in Silicon Valley, and there is a lot of exchange of knowledge, experience, and network connections, investments happening between that network. So I myself used to live in US for 10 years. Nerses, you have spent more than 20 years there. And so collaboration is very strong. And I think that has a big, adds a lot of contribution to the current success that the ecosystem is seeing. So as a VC, partner at a VC, I have very close sort of look into the new startups that are coming around. So in 1 year, our VC only has made already 13 investments. These are very early stage companies, but very, very interesting, exciting companies. And I think that trend is going to continue. So, and coming here and seeing the energy in Hyderabad, by the way, it's the third time for me in Hyderabad. Last time was 12 years ago, so it's incredible to see the change in the city and in the high-tech city especially, right? And the energy that I've seen so far is super, incredible. And I see a lot of opportunities to work together and help each other, right, to create something bigger. So.
Thank you, David. And Pawan, can you tell us a little bit about Skyroot and what the ultimate vision was for you as you started this company? And then I'll have a few more follow-ups there.
Yeah, sure. So basically the tagline or the mission statement for Skyroot is to open space for all. So today we cannot live without space-based services. For example, television comes from space, GPS comes from space. In fact, in India, every year fishermen save almost $1 billion in fuel, through satellite advisory, on to identify the right locations for fish. And there's plenty of applications, especially in India and worldwide, where we today, it become indispensable part of our life. But still, less than probably, less than 0.1% of the entire world actually accesses space directly. Very few countries, very few people have direct access to space. So our mission to start Skyroot is basically to open space for all. Where it's so democratized that everybody, all the entire humanity can access space, probably go to a space for a tour in the future. Probably every student can launch a satellite before they graduate, et cetera, et cetera. Just open up space for everybody. So that requires solving the biggest, toughest problem. That is to reduce the cost to get to space. Today the rockets are the only way to get to space, and once we drastically reduce the cost of these vehicles which go to space, I think that's when truly open space for all comes, and we believe that transforms life like never before, because space has great excitement, and it also has great space is a great source of resources, typically, which can sustain much typically trillions of people, and space tourism will be something very big, and space-based services, especially communication and Earth observation, will be open up to a majority of the population, which is not open up today. So that will truly transform life on Earth, and it will also help us, expand beyond Earth. It's a very exciting few decades. Typically, so we sum it up in a single line as opening space for all, and we set to solve the biggest problem, which is transportation from Earth to space. And that's what we are set to do step by step at Skyroot, to start off with by commercial launch of satellites, but for more and more companies, for more and more people, and then we eventually end up with probably building rockets, spaceships for transporting humans, cargoes, and then that will become humanity will get more and more exciting as we go further.
I don't think there's any better proof point of your tagline of opening space for all than flying the device built by kids in a smaller country, powered by the technology developed in a country like India. So, I think that's proof is in the pudding already. Would love to know how did you get to interact with the Armenian tech community? You yourself visited Armenia. What was your experience? It'd be great to hear your feedback and your experience.
So, in fact, one of our investors at Skyroot, Razmik, so he happens to be of Armenian origin, and then there's one high-tech conference happening at Armenia, so he requested if you could visit and interact with the entrepreneurial ecosystem there. So I think so that was a good time where took some time off and visited Armenia, and of course met all the great entrepreneurs like David, and several interesting companies being built out of there. So I think really it's a beautiful country, wonderful people, great talent, especially the software talent is phenomenal, and I think the ecosystem, the energy of the people, everything is very good, and that's when we just had a discussion on why don't we launch a payload, because we have a rocket launch coming up in some time. So whether you could build a payload for which we could launch, and so that idea sprung up with Hayek and team at Bazumk, and so they were excited, and then I think you put together high-tech, you put together the entire team and the entire journey towards building the payload and made it a reality, and then we flew, and then we took it, and it's the first foreign payload which we ever launched. Is one of the 3 payloads which we launched in the first mission, which was the first private rocket launch ever in the country. So it's a pretty exciting journey, starting with Razmik's investment in Skyroot in our Series A, and then me visiting Armenia, interacting with Bazumk and all the entrepreneurs, and then all that bringing into a reality to a launch in a short period of time, I think is very amazing collaboration, I would say, a good global collaboration for us. In fact, now we are looking to launch your satellites, and then Armenia is looking to build a deeper connect with space, building space-based products, something very exciting you all thinking. So it's good that we are contributing to this space journey of Armenia, and wish you all the best. Yeah.
Thank you, and we're all here in Hyderabad because of your invitation to come to Hyderabad, where you are, and we're incredibly thankful for that note for us. Haik, if you can tell us a little bit about Bazumk, a little about the history of space technology in Armenia, and how your relationship more recently with the Entrepreneur Network has helped guide or shape the trajectory of the Space Research Lab.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'll start from the historical part very quickly. So if we would go back to early 1960s, where the space era was starting, actually, it would make sense to mention that Armenia, as a part of the Soviet Union, has a very involvement in those projects. Particularly, the first optical device on the orbit was developed in Armenia. And we also had Armenian contributors in space technologies. You know, for the rocketry particularly, we had Andranik Yosifyan, who was doing who was in charge, basically, for all of the large rocket electronics flying in orbit from Soviet Union at that times. And if you would Google, like, father of Lunokhod, which is basically the first rover, moon rover that Soviet Union put on the moon, you will see the name of Alexander Kemurjian, who was leading basically the project for the moon rover, and also his rover in 1973 was the first one who did a soft landing on Mars. You know, and but the times have changed. You know, decades have passed, things have changed, and at this moment, there are things that we really need to start from the scratch because technologies have changed. So, as a part of our mission as a Bazumk, we want to be one of the locomotives of the space tech in Armenia, trying to involve as more companies, more people into space area, because we can see definitely, as Pawan says, the future is going to space. We are three-dimensional. People are 3D, right? So we are moving to the third dimension. That's now in space, right? And so a year ago, it was a 100-year anniversary of Alexander Kemurjian. So we took his name, and with the help of great entrepreneurs, space people, I can say, we organized the competition in Armenia among the youth and kids to build a payload that would actually fly to space, which will be the first device from many decades after those changes to fly to space from Armenia. So the project was really successfully, and we had about 20 participants for the competition, and the winning team who collaborated with another team who took the second place of the winners. So they did the device which we eventually sent to Skyroot, and then the teams worked together on the integration part and everything. So eventually it ended with flight to space, where we again congratulate Skyroot with their successful flight to suborbital, and then we are waiting for the next Vikram 1 flight to congratulate you guys with a first launch to orbit, and probably we will have also another payload as a real satellite now on your rocket flying to orbit. I also want to use the chance to thank you, Nerses and High-Tech T-Hub, for taking care and organizing this fantastic event. I'm first time in Hyderabad and in India, but I'm sure that we will come back. And I want again thanks to Skyroot team, Pawan, Kiran, for their big help and hosting us here. So thank you.
Thank you, Haik. And on that note, Dr. Kiran, the person who actually gets things done in many ways, what was the experience of actually working with an international entity to put the first foreign device and getting that integrated and working there? What did you learn? What was your experience? Would love to know your perspective.
So it was a great experience. First of all, this initiative of building up teams, like a joint work together, all the kids coming together, making different types of payloads within the boundary conditions, setting the goals for the kids in different directions, different teams working on that. And finally, evaluating this is a very, very difficult thing because we don't want to hurt any of the kids. So all the teams, the final Ad Astra team, which came up along with the runner-up, was a fantastic experience, especially in this sector where the space is going to take the next decade for all the technologies. So Armenia trying to get into this, especially at this stage, and that too with the private sector of India, is going to change a lot, both for India as well as Armenia, and jointly strengthen the links between Indo-Armenia. So I think this was a fantastic experience, and these kids who actually built these things together are going to build the next generation satellites for the next decade, and that's going to change a lot for the country.
I really appreciate that, and I think that was probably the most exciting part of this whole collaboration, is actually seeing kids understand that it's real, understand that it's possible, understand that they can participate, understand they can do that. As a follow-up, what does it feel like as an engineer, as a technical person, to know that from your, where you live, where you work, you get to impact kids who are gonna have dreams for the decades to come far away? And I'm sure Armenia is not going to be the first, is the first, but maybe one of hundreds of countries who are going to participate in the programs you put together, in the capacity you build for the world to launch things into space. How does it feel like that you get to actually make that impact on people around the world?
So if we look at the overall scenario, when I interacted personally with the teams, it was the level of understanding, especially from the software side and the electronics side, was on par with the world standards. It was very good that the teams were up to that level. So that brings out also the next possibilities, that once they build these sort of satellites, the payloads, the satellites what they build for the next parts would be much, much better. And that would be changing also a lot in terms of the technologies what they're going to develop for the future.
Excellent. Just to close out this discussion, I really appreciate your time and all the energy you've put in all the way up to this point. Are there any parting thoughts or any last words you would leave the group here today?
Yeah, I'm happy to add some comments. Like, I think when entrepreneurs and builders, when they are put in the same room, like magical things happen, right? And I think that's one of the purposes that T-Hub exists, right? To put builders and entrepreneurs together, and you just need to put them together, and they will find the contacts, they will find the problems, and they will create very beautiful things. So I think that's what happened when Pavan visited Armenia. Like, who would think that we would be here now, and we would have plans to do other things together, right? So yeah, I want to thank you, Nerses, and I would thank MSR for everything that you're doing, and I think this is very beautiful. So let's hope that we are going to create more things together, right?
So I think, in fact, from hearing you, you all loved the place, and also had a lot of fruitful discussions with a lot of entrepreneurs based in India, many of them based in Hyderabad. So I think, I hope it'll be of great learning for both sides, and it'll be probably beginning of a new journey, new collaboration, etc. going forward. So all the best to Armenian team, and I would also like to thank T-Hub and MSR and team for this, putting together the entire, team from Armenia, giving them the best access to all the entrepreneurs here, showing them the ecosystem. In fact, they're very excited the kind of developments happening, especially in Hyderabad. And in fact, they're also looking to get a direct flight from Armenia to Hyderabad. so that kind of discussion has started, and the bridge between the two countries has been encouraged. And in fact, India has been a very good partner of Armenia for quite some time, and a lot of very interesting stuff happening, a lot of collaboration happening. And it's good that T-Hub, such a wonderful grand platform, has helped you guys interact with the ecosystem, created a very good bridge between the entrepreneurs. And thanks a lot for arranging all that. And also thanks a lot for the entire team which made it to India, made it to Hyderabad, and begin a lot of collaborations in the last few days. And looking forward to the kind of great output of these collaborations coming to fruits in the next few years. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So hi, I would like to say a last word. From the visit to Armenia, it was a fantastic peace-loving country. I think it's a great country, which also Pawan would say through his visit. It's a must-visit destination for most of us, especially throughout the year. And the people over there also are very peace-loving. So through this visit, I think T-Hub has strengthened the Indo-Armenian links bilaterally, not only from the Armenian side, but also from the Indian side. So I would recommend everyone from my personal side as well as from Pawan's side that everyone should visit Armenia. It has the great Ararat mountain in addition to the nice Shazwan lake over there. It's a fantastic view.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Kiran, thank you so much. And I would say that once again, thanks a lot, T-Hub, for taking care of this, for hosting and everything, for the visit organization, and then the collaboration with meetings with other companies. I'm sure that this is the beginning of something really big. And as we were talking about space, but basically space is currently hosting almost all of the areas, you know, including the software. There's everything, you know, because I think that the meetings that we had with other companies which are in other domains, and I think that we'll get to the moment that all of those industries will be connected together, and they will be connected with space as well. So thank you much again. Thanks a lot, and we hope for the soon continuation, and we'll welcome every one of you to Armenia for the continuing part of these collaborations. Thank you.
To close out the discussion, I wanted to also say, you know, you put people together, things happen. Today, Sci-Hub, Cybersecurity Hub of Armenia, and the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence of India signed an MOU to look at ways to collaborate and work together and expand and work with each other moving forward. So already, just by doing this visit, by just being here in person, by talking to people, those things are already moving forward. So thank you all very much, and we really appreciate feeling at home and being welcomed here in Hyderabad. You give me. You own the list, right? The people, Armenian people names. I will get it.
Super. Thank you for the wonderful session to all the entrepreneurs and providing their wonderful inputs to rest of the team. We would like, so we've reached the conclusion almost. So what we're trying to do is, we want to felicitate all the Armenian founders who chose T-Hub, who chose T-Hub to be part of their journey, innovation journey, and looking at us as their innovation partner. So I request MSR to come onto the stage. I also request Shrikant Sinha sir, CEO Task, onto the stage, and Srini as well. Firstly, we would like to welcome nurses onto the stage. Thank you. So this is made, this is one of Telangana's ritual. The thing that they're going to put on everyone from Armenia is called Pochampalli cotton shawl. That's made in-house at Telangana. Eric Bell, please join us on stage. David, we welcome you onto the stage as well. Aztec, we welcome you onto the stage, please. Request Srini to do the fill station. Next, can we have Vartan on stage? Can we have vegan on stage, please?
Can we have Hovanes on stage, please? And can we have Murray?
They also have signed MOU today with DSCI Hyderabad. Shriram sir, if you're here. Yeah.
Can we have Mariam on stage? Can we have Gerasim on stage? Next, Eveg on stage, please. Can we have Hike on stage? Can we have Gaur on stage? Or Lilith on stage, please. Can we have Arsan on stage, please? Finally, Susana on stage, please.
So I request all the team to join us on the stage, the Armenian team, the new Tihavians. Atul, can you join us on the stage where you are? Atul. Thank you, everyone. Thank you and welcome to T-Hub family. So to give our guest a taste of our Indian culture, now I would like to welcome Tejaswini and Ananya to give us a special performance.
Request everyone to settle down for the special performance.
తగదజను తాజం తగదజను తదిరన తనదిరనది నాద్రతని తాజం తగదజను తాజం తగదజను తాజం తగదజను తదిరన తనదిరనది తిరన తిల్లన తదిరన తనదిరనది നടമാടും നടരാജൻ ആനന്ദ നടമാടും നടരാജൻ സവേശൻ பொன்னம்பல தரசனை புகழ்ந்து பாடுவோம் கரிசனி சார் ததிங்கினதும் தபமகமப தத்திங்கினதும் சார் கரிசனி சார் ததிங்கினதும் தபமகமப தத்திங்கினதும் தகஜம் தரிதா சகரி பமகரி சனி சார் ததிங்கினதும் தபமகரி ததிங்கினதும் தகஜம் தரிதா சகரி பமகரி சனி சார் ததிங்கினதும் தபமகரி ததிங்கினதும் ததிரனா தனதிரனதி திரனா தில்லனா திரன தனதிரனதி தனதிரனதி தனதிரனதிரனதிரனதி
Thank you. That was a wonderful and mesmerizing performance. Now I would like to welcome Wing Commander Anish Anthony, CDO T-Hub, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Check. I think the past 1 week, the takeaway for me during the interaction has been three things, right? One is the similarities between India and Armenia. One is the ability. For a country with a population of 3 million, right? The amount of achievements that are coming out of Armenia are truly phenomenal, right? Armenia is not limited by its boundaries. Its abilities are not limited by its population, right? It's spread across the world, and the kind of networking effect that Armenia is able to create are absolutely phenomenal. That is my first takeaway about the interaction over the past 1 week. The second takeaway is about Armenia's deep-rooted value system. Right? I think everything is built on honesty, integrity, value, culture, the ability to spread good and spread value across. I think that is the second piece that has been my takeaway. And the third takeaway for it is that both India and Armenia are looking for opportunities. I think the next generation of nations are going to be the ones who exploit the opportunities using keeping the first two in place. Leverage your abilities, stay close to your values, and exploit the opportunities. I think that probably, in my opinion, summarizes the Indo-Armenian Summit this week. Coming over to the main event, that is giving a vote of thanks. I think firstly, I would like to thank the entire delegation which has come over. Thank you for choosing India, and more importantly, thank you for choosing Hyderabad as your destination to explore opportunities. As you saw, even a week is too small a time to explore all opportunities, right? Hyderabad has grown exponentially. The infrastructure and the opportunities are set to grow even further. So thank you for choosing Hyderabad as the opportunity. Thank the whole delegation for that. Thanks for our wonderful panelists. I think great value was generated in that 40 minutes of panel time that we had here. Takeaways are how we can work for everybody, spaces for all. We need to collaborate and make this happen, right? A country like Armenia collaborating with a city like Hyderabad and then putting rockets and satellites into space. I think that's a great love story out there, right? And the last piece is thanks a lot for making this happen, both High Tech and Arrow, And the most popular person probably in the most popular person in the hall today, Narcis. Thank you so much for making all this happen. A great round of applause for Narcis, please. So on behalf of T-Hub and on behalf of the Hyderabad ecosystem, we thank you all for coming over and making this week a very memorable week for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now proceed towards our networking, and the floor is all yours. The bar count is on your right side, and we have starters going around, and the yum food will be served in next 30 minutes. Hope you have great networking.